Within the tribes, the other giants were extremely jealous of the two of them. There was also a legend about a mysterious person from Earth circulating amongst the tribesmen. Also, Earth was the origin of human civilization and was the mother star for the noble civilization that conquered the Milky Way. Suddenly, comments and discussion erupted in the garden. The simple-looking human in front of them was the Ada of the giants? Could it be that he was a wise one? However, he seemed a little too tall to be one. In addition, they had not seen a wise one that was of such a young age. A new breed. Ai-san and the rest knew about the identity of Wang Zheng. The truth was that they had been quite reserved because he had some background. If it was an ordinary soldier, they would have asked someone to drag him out. However, even if that was the case, when did he become so familiar with the people of Tita? Moreover, it seemed that the people of Tita were willing to submit themselves to Wang Zheng. These were things that even the Lan family couldn't achieve. At the moment, rumbling sounds could be heard from outside again. Another 3 Tita giants had arrived. On their shoulders were the wise ones. Such a lineup was unprecedented. Together with the giant that had arrived previously, there was a total of 4 giants and 4 wise ones. This had exceeded the scale that Lan Zhang had interacted with in the past. When the crowd noticed the foreheads of these giants, they were even more surprised. This was because there was a tattoo on the forehead of each of the giants. One of them even had 3 tattoos. Only the strongest warrior would have the qualifications to have tattoos on their forehead. In other words, the strongest warrior of the 4 tribes had arrived. Moreover, only elders or the tribal chief would be allowed to be on the shoulders of their number 1 warrior. The giants came to the side of Wang Zheng as though the rest weren't around and lowered the wise one slowly. Among them, the giant with the largest physique also bowed down in front of Wang Zheng. Ada, Shan Meng missed you. You should rise, let's skip the ceremonies. Shan Meng was full of respect and awe towards Wang Zheng. Rara Darai was respectful to Wang Zheng and relied on him. Rara Darai was also more gifted than Shan Meng. Ai-san wasn't able to say a single word at this moment. Wang Zheng, we meet again. Let me introduce to you. These are Elder Guang Yao and Chief Prabuba. Other than Mu Sen and Khalifa, another Grand Elder had come. The Grand Elder was one of the 8 Great Elders too, and Prabuba was the chief of the Kunlun area. Mr. Wang Zheng, it is nice to meet you. Elder Guang Yao's head was slightly longer and had a completely different face shape compared to Mu Senator. His stature was also slightly taller. Obviously, it could be due to him having a longer head. It is nice meeting you too, Elder Guang Yao. Both of them shook their hands gently. The elders always used the human way of communication when in the world of humans. Guang Yao, was I right about what I had said? Mu Sen laughed. Elder Guang Yao nodded his head gently. The distinguished guests had arrived and the hosts had to appear. Lan Zhang immediately came out with several people around him. They were clearly all distinguished guests. After hearing the reports, Lan Zhang was also surprised. He had not expected the people of Tita to show him such great respect. He was a little overwhelmed by the lineup. He had heard about the mysterious stories about Wang Zheng from Lan Ling. However, he had not expected the people of Tita to show him such great respect. The way the people of Tita formed relationships had differences with the humans' way. While the influence of the party was important, they also placed equal emphasis on fate. Otherwise, they would not have only allied themselves with the Lan family over these years. There was an aloof-looking teenager beside Lan Zhang. He didn't seem to have the people of Tita in his eyes and even seemed to treat them as enemies. Let me introduce everyone to this man. He is Mr. Zarberg, the one in charge of the Blue Star Commerce Organization. Lan Zhang helped to introduce for everyone. It was clearly a grand event. There was a representative from the Milky Way Alliance, Mr. Isan Lingxi, a representative from the Commerce Organization, Mr. Zarberg, the people of Tita, and the Lan family. It is truly a lively occasion. Miss Red Fox is truly glamorous. I have always admired warriors like you. Zarberg did not attempt to hide his perverted gaze. The Red Fox smiled flirtatiously and easily withdrew her hand. Zarberg is one of the most handsome talents in the Milky Way Alliance and is most known for his actions to stir storms and rain. I have been looking forward to meeting you. The Red Fox remained calm and composed, yet her words seemed to hint that this man wasn't friendly. Lan Zhang laughed. The benefits for the Lan family were achieved through a balance by gaining advantages from various sides. The supergravity energy mineral was an opportunity. Leveraging on this opportunity, the Lan family hoped to get a permanent position after they joined the Milky Way Alliance. It was to pursue victory in chaos. In other words, it was also to obtain power by walking on the edge of a knife. However, generally speaking, the various powers had been showing him some respect. Wang Zheng, brat, you have a great body and have recovered well. How are you doing since returning to the military? Lan Zhang laughed. Isan's eyes flickered. He had not expected Wang Zheng to have such a good relationship with the Lan family. One would know that the Lan Zheng was the de facto leader of the Lan family. This old man was truly the most influential person in this place. Even if one was influential in other places, he would have to show respect before him on Tita. Isan was definitely a two-faced person and regarded his interests as the most important. It was clear that Wang Zheng was with the Red Fox. If Wang Zheng was just a pro of the IG, it wouldn't have amounted to anything. However, if he were to use this relationship for the Red Fox, it wouldn't be wise to not choose the Red Fox as the squadron leader. Red Fox, Mr. Lan has spoken. You have to give the younger people more responsibilities. Being brave in raising and training the rookies is also consistent with the tradition of the Milky Way Alliance's Special Action Team, said Isan as he suddenly acted as though he was close with the Red Fox. That would be great. This would make cooperation between the Lan family and the action team much easier. This guy is dependable. Everyone seemed to be unable to stomach it. With Lan Yang's position, he wouldn't have to get on the good side of this immature brat. However, Wang Zheng knew that this was Lan Zhang repaying him in an indirect way. This was because it was due to Wang Zheng that Lan Ling could be so successful in completing the negotiations on Tita. Haha, the Red Fox will be taking over the position of squadron leader. Although Wang Zheng is still young, his contribution was huge and he can definitely take over the mantle of section leader. Instantly, the Silver Fox and Golden Fox were grief-stricken. They would never have dreamt that the position of squadron leader, which seemed within their grasp, would fly away as though it had grown wings. Isan was definitely a sly fox. He had kept a tight lip all along. By saying it out publicly, this matter was a done deal. Although they were furious, they didn't dare to show it. Clearly, Wang Zheng's close relationship with the people of Tita and the Lan family had completely changed Isan's stand. This was a classic example of being merciless after changing sides. No matter how calm the Red Fox might seem, her heart started thumping at this moment. One could remain firm if one did not have any desires. However, she had desires and had her own goals. That was to become the squadron leader of the Fox Squadron. It was a simple and direct goal. She believed that with her abilities, she would be capable enough for the role and be better than the men. However, it was very difficult to do so as a woman. What a turnaround! After hearing the good news, the Red Fox was emanating an alluring aura. However, her gaze was on Wang Zheng. Who would have thought that the brat that had just arrived had achieved so much quietly? Leveraging on this opportunity, Isan pulled old man Lan Zhang away for a chat. He had always felt bounded as a consul. Everyone had showed him respect, but that was pretty much all he had gotten. When it came into doing work, everyone would be either trying to delay or obstruct him. Since the Lan family had such high regards for Wang Zheng, making the Red Fox the squadron leader would be equivalent to forging a relationship with the Lan family. Moreover, Wang Zheng seemed to have a good relationship with the people of Tita. He was excited just thinking about it. As long as he could get Wang Zheng on his side, he wouldn't have to worry about not being able to perform as a consul. As for who was to become the squadron leader, Isan did not really mind. It was the same for him no matter who would become the squadron leader. The military would forever serve the politicians. For this position, as long as it was by a person that he had helped to secure the position, the person would owe him a favor. It would be alright if this person were to take the same stance as him. Old man Lan Zhang faced Wang Zheng and winked. The intention was clear. This brat now owed him once again. Wang Zheng smiled and nodded his head. He would gladly accept this favor. With the Red Fox becoming the squadron leader, his days in the future would be easier. With regards to the new mech design, Wang Zheng was still very excited about it. Rara Durai and Shan Meng had started quarreling. They were quarreling over whose shoulders Wang Jung should sit on. After being scolded by Mu Sen, they finally stopped and decided to take turns carrying him. However, their request was promptly rejected by Wang Jung. This was a ball and not a hunting trip in the forest. This disappointed both of them. Both of them looked like a child who did not get his toys. Sometimes, the people of Tita were so simple and pure. The distinguished guests arrived one after another. Among the immigrants, there were other powers other than the Lan family. As for the Commerce Organization, there were also other massive powers other than Zarberg, who was the representative of the Blue Star Commerce Organization. All of them came well dressed. Some of them even came specifically from outside the Titan Star. The respect showed made old man Lan Zhong extremely happy. Wang Jung had returned to his corner to eat. The red fox had been pulled away. After becoming the squadron leader, she would have a certain level of rights to speak on the Titan Star. Everyone had to get to know one another again and establish friendly relationships. As for Wang Jung, it wasn't that the rest didn't want to get to know him. No matter how insignificant he might be, he was also a guest. Moreover, from the situation previously, this brat seemed to be well connected. Even if being friends with him might not bring benefits, it wouldn't be a bad thing. However, the problem was Rara Durai and Shan Meng were sticking to Wang Jung. They were standing to the right and left of Wang Jung like two humongous keepers. Whoever tried to approach Wang Jem would be stared at by them. As a result, no one dared to approach Wang Jung. However, they did not know that Rara Durai and Shan Meng were trying to maintain gentle gazes. Old man Lan, when will our beautiful star appear? Who will be the male partner for the first dance? Would you consider Xiao Dong from our family? Lan Zhong answered easily, Old man Yi, these are the youngsters' matters. Let's not be involved in them. Moreover, doesn't Xiao Dong already have a girlfriend? Everyone was chatting when they saw Sun Xin coming down from the stairs above. The crowd instantly quieted down significantly. Those who had some understanding of the Lan family or Lan Ling knew who Sun Xin was. She was the personal assistant of the Missy of the Lan family. Basically, wherever Lan Ling went, Sun Xin would be there first to make the preparations. Was it that Lan Ling would finally be making an appearance? Several teenagers started to adjust their attire and adopted a carefully prepared action and posture. They had made up their minds to leave a good and deep impression on Lan Ling. Sun Xin walked down the stairs and looked around. She seemed to be looking for someone, and everyone was a little curious. As the personal assistant of Lan Ling, clearly she was not looking for someone but was looking for the person Lan Ling wished to find at this moment. After looking around, she headed towards Wang Jung. Wang Jung, Miss is looking for you. Instantly, everyone was a little stunned. Wang Jung was able to have a close conversation with the wise elders of the people of Tita. Considering the fact that Lan Zhong also had a good relationship with the people of Tita, Lan Yang's relationship with Wang Jung wouldn't be too bad and could explain his previous attitude. After all, their relationship was likely to have some nature of official business. However, Sun Xin was representing Lan Ling to invite Wang Jung to meet her upstairs just before the official start of the ball. This was likely to be more of a personal nature. To say it clearer, Lan Ling was putting her reputation as a girl at stake. Lan Zhong smiled and headed towards Wang Jung. Several people finally heaved a sigh of relief. After all, Lan Zhong wasn't an old and confused old man. Brat, you better have a gift prepared. If you don't, I won't forgive you. Lan Yang's words surprised everyone as old man Lan did not attempt to stop this incident that could ruin Lan Ling's reputation. He even encouraged it to happen. Gift? Oh my god. What was he saying? In the ears of those who had other intentions, those words were like hinting and asking Wang Jung when he would propose a marriage. Did you bring along a proposal ring today? Wang Jung smiled and nodded his head. He took out a small gift box containing the crystal bracelet from his clothes and followed Sun Xin upstairs. Wang Jung smiled and asked the serious-looking Sun Xin, how have you been recently? I have been great every day. However, it seems that you were pretty powerful and I had not expected it. However, you don't deserve to be with Miss. Sun Xin was acting like a little cat protecting a herd of calf, and this made Wang Jung not know whether to laugh or cry. Wang Jung nodded his head while maintaining a smile. This had nothing to do with brute strength. Lan Ling was his friend and so was Sun Xin. Sun Xin brought Wang Jung into Lan Ling's room. Clearly, it wasn't her bedroom but was a resting and makeup room. Hearing the door opening, Lan Ling smiled brightly and turned around. Wang Jung was taken aback slightly. How could he put it in word? It was the first time he felt that Lan Ling was pretty beautiful. He had not realized that due to Aina, he had a rather high immunity towards beautiful girls. You are really beautiful. Sun Xin took a look at Wang Jung and gave him a threatening gaze out of habit. Even she didn't know why she was threatening him, following which, she walked out of the room quietly. As she left, she closed the door. Thank you. Your words are a huge encouragement for me. I'm so nervous that I didn't dare to go out to meet the other people. Lan Ling as she patted her chest laughed. Hee hee. Just a small gift. Happy birthday. Wang Jung passed the little gift box in his hands over. Lan Ling's eyes lit up. Thank you. What is it? Can I open it now? Of course you can. It is really beautiful. Thank you. I really like it. Lan Ling put the crystal bracelet onto her wrist quickly. The valuable star diamond bracelet was thrown casually to the side by her. Wang Jung rubbed his nose and said, I feel like the star bracelet looked better. Wang Jung was feeling a little embarrassed. But this crystal bracelet is more suitable for me. Lan Ling laughed. There was deeper meaning in her words, and Lan Ling's gaze was full of danger. Wang Jung smiled. I feel truly honored. Oh, right, I'm here for another matter. I remember you talking about creating a mech specifically for use on the Titan star. There is an opportunity now. Oh, please elaborate. When it came to official work, Lan Ling was able to remain calm despite being busy at the moment. There is a collaborative mech project being developed by my side and it is entering the experimental phase soon. With only the strength from our side, it is not enough. If you are interested, perhaps we could enter an alliance, said Wang Jung. Creating a mech specifically for use on the Titan star wasn't an easy task. Yi Zissou and Barry could both be considered geniuses. One of them was a design genius, while the other had been researching the Titan star for a long time. Although they had been able to work well since they got together, there were still two problems that they were unable to overcome. The Lan family had been dabbling on matters in this aspect and had accumulated a large amount of valuable experience. What they were lacking was in-depth technical support. Therefore, there was a basis for collaboration. Lan Ling was slightly stunned. She had thought of many things that Wang Jung might need her help on but had not expected it to be collaboration in mecha development. Please elaborate more first. Who is in your team? Lan Ling smiled. She could tell that the way Wang Jung conversed with her was still within the boundaries of friends and wasn't an official negotiation. The design aspect of the mech is mainly being conducted by OMG and King Company. A friend from my section and I are also involved in it. Wang Jung sent an overview of the information to Lan Ling using his Skylink. Lan Ling browsed through the data. There was an introduction to the main members of the design team. Yi Zissou. She looked so beautiful in the photo and was the successor to OMG. Lan Ling raised her head and looked at Wang Jung. Is this lady, Yi Zissou, the princess you told me about previously? Wang Jung was stunned. He shook his head. The emphasis of a girl was truly not common. She isn't. She is my classmate and friend. She is also a member of my closest circle. Yan Xiaoshu is also in it, and I will definitely introduce him to you if there is an opportunity. Have you heard of the designer of the wind god? Lan Ling smiled brightly upon hearing the first segment but was surprised by the latter segment. Of course I have heard of it. If I'm not wrong, she is the hottest mecha designer currently. If that is the case, I would really want to meet her. Hee hee. I believe the two of you will get along very well. All right. After the banquet, you can arrange for a meeting between us. Lan Ling was in a very good mood. Oh yeah, I asked you to be here because I need your help. Could you be my dance partner for tonight? It would be my honor. Wang Jung smiled and accepted the request calmly. But, Lan Ling squinted her eyes and blinked, but what? You have to change into a proper formal attire first. Lan Ling pushed and walked Wang Jung into a changing room. In the changing room, there were over 10 sets of suits for men. The style of the design was clearly of the same kind as the evening gown Lan Ling was wearing. Wang Jung changed into a suit with a forced file. He had originally thought that it would be a casual dance and had not thought more about it. Lan Ling was scrutinizing Wang Zheng. She pouted and said, "You need to let me tidy up your hair, you can't reject me." All right. Wang Zheng had given up. The birthday girl was the most important person here after all. The truth was that he had really wanted to ask why the suits were so fitting. Lan Ling seemed to be playing with her dolls as she tidied up Wang Zheng's hair with much effort. "Would it be okay if I cut it a little?" "Whatever you wish," said Wang Zheng with a forced smile. "You said it. I had a dream when I was 9 years old that I would be a hairstylist." Lan Ling was very happy. The truth was that her skills weren't bad. After some time, Wang Zheng was stunned by his reflection in the mirror. "Oh, damn, who was this handsome brat? You are finally deserving of me, cough. Don't misunderstand. I was saying as my dance partner," said Lan Ling as her face turned red. It seemed that the more she wanted to explain, the worse the situation got. "I understand. Let's go. Everyone has been waiting for a long time." When they left the door, Wang Zheng extended his hand to Lan Ling. Lan Ling placed her hand on Wang Zheng's hand without looking and headed down the stairs together with Wang Zheng. Sun Xin frowned and blinked her eyes. Wang Zheng had only changed his attire, but the feeling he gave off seemed to be pretty refined. However, to be deserving of Miss, he was still far from it. At the bottom of the stairs, the atmosphere was dense. Not only was the Lan family demonstrating their unique influence, other major powers were also making use of this opportunity to display their purpose and reasons for being there. Commerce organization, immigrant families, and representatives of the new immigrants. In the banquet, they were wearing long-sleeved suits and were good at dancing. Their gazes, backgrounds, strength, influences, and topics in discussion were likely to affect the direction of development of the Titan star for the next several years or even decades. Moreover, the fuss that Wang Zheng had caused previously had made it the topic everyone was talking about in such an environment. It was also an interesting topic among all the other topics. However, it would only last for a short while as it wasn't a topic that would last long. Just when everyone was talking about it excitedly, they finally heard the sound of someone hitting a cup. At the front of the MC's stage, old man Lan Zhong was holding a goblet, and he had hit it with a spoon softly. The sound had rang out through the sound system and everyone subconsciously looked towards the stairs. Lan Ling was like an angel descending from the clouds. The protagonist was finally making her move. She was really beautiful. The exquisite makeup seemed to have made Lan Ling the center of attention, and it was attracting all the eyes of the crowd. Claps. Everyone started clapping. The protagonist of the banquet had arrived, signaling the official commencement of the ball. The young men were rubbing their palms and straightening their backs. They were competing to be Lan Ling's partner for the first dance. To lead the first dance of the ball with the protagonist of the ball would have extraordinary significance. However, soon, everyone could quickly see that the person standing beside the angel like Lan Ling was none other than Wang Zheng, who was wearing a full black tuxedo. The perception of everyone was that if Lan Ling was the angel, Wang Zheng would be the devil that had imprisoned the angel. Could it be? It can't be. What is the Lan family trying to show by doing this? A sharp person would have noticed that Wang Zheng had changed into an official suit. Connecting the scene previously where he was going to meet Lan Ling alone, it would mean that she wanted to have the first dance with Wang Zheng. The significance of this was different. Previously, old man Lan Zhong was trying to give Wang Zheng a push, and it had made him a section leader in the Milky Way alliance. However, it would seem that this was just the prelude to marrying Lan Ling to Wang Zheng. Between a man and a woman who were strangers to each other, with the IQ of old man Lan, he wouldn't have done so if it wasn't for this reason. Today is the birthday of Lan Ling, and I would like to thank all our relatives and friends for being here. The truth is that I wanted to make this an opportunity for everyone to gather and reminisce about the past. However, I have a friend that I especially want to introduce to all. Lan Zhong paused for a while and pointed at Wang Zheng. I'm sure everyone can see that handsome brat there. His name is Wang Zheng and he is currently working in the Milky Way Alliance's Special Action Team. Please look after him in the future. Alright, I shall not bother everyone anymore. Music, please. Melodious dance music sounded. However, the guests were unsettled. What was he trying to achieve with such a formal introduction? The birthday banquet ended with a weird atmosphere. Everyone at the banquet had remembered the small fry named Wang Zheng. Lan Zhong had also complicated things by strongly praising Wang Zheng, but he did not make their relationship clear. This had confused many people. However, the relationship between Wang Zheng and the people of Tita was very clear. The one who was the most excited and surprised was the Red Fox. She had never dreamt that there was still hope in her becoming the squadron leader. Moreover, the two-faced Ison had surprisingly looked for her for a serious conversation. The Red Fox had been the section leader for several years and clearly knew the importance of having good relationships with her superiors. Since the other party had taken the initiative and shown goodwill, naturally, the Red Fox would have to accept it. However, all this was because of that little brat, Wang Zheng. The people of Tita were still going to remain in Lankou City for several days. On the other hand, Wang Zheng had to leave soon after the banquet ended. After all, he had official duties to attend to. Nonetheless, she had arranged with Lan Ling for a time to meet. Lan Ling was very interested in both the project and Yi Zisu. The banquet had also consolidated the reputation of the Lan family, and this was very important, considering the current sensitive situation. The Lankou City branch of the Blue Star Commerce Organization. Zarberg was furious. Several key management members clearly had not expected the situation to have become like this so suddenly. The Blue Star Commerce Organization had always been trying to achieve an agreement with the Lan family to develop and get rich together. As for those barbarians, they were only suitable to be slaves. Moreover, Zarberg was very interested in Lan Ling. He did not mind using a political marriage to complete this huge business. After all, marriage and divorce were only pieces of paper. However, the situation had suddenly changed. What is the old fool trying to do? Does he believe that the tradition of the people of Tita to elect a brat is enough to change the current situation? Growled Zarberg angrily. Hee. Representative, I believe Lan Zhong was trying to get on the good side of that brat, said one of the more composed middle-aged men. He was the director of the Blue Star Commerce Organization. He was also the de facto in charge for this project and was assisting Zarberg. After all, Zarberg was the son of the largest shareholder and would require a dazzling achievement to enter the board of directors officially. It was also to pave the way to the Allied Commerce Organization in the future. Oh, representative, the people of Tita are not good at faking, and this is something I can see. Old man Lan is an old, sly fox. To be able to rule the Titan Star for so long, he definitely isn't impulsive. The reason why the Lan family have what they have today is because of their relationship with the people of Tita. It has allowed them to dominate the other families. However, Wang Zheng has appeared now. Everyone who was there today saw that the people of Tita are closer to this teenager than the rest of us. If I was Lan Zhong, I would also resort to various ways to make him one of us, or at least make sure he won't be our enemy. Moore laughed. His age had allowed him to remain calm and composed no matter what he encountered. According to what you just said, do we have to get on the good side of this brat too? I don't mean that. What I mean was that we would have to consider our plan B. Our conflicts with the people of Tita can't be resolved. No matter what, regardless of whether we can get the Lan family on our side or not, we still have to execute the plan. The truth is that there are also many powers who wish to replace them, and we could make use of them. What you are saying is to adopt the hard stance. It won't be easy to explain that to the Milky Way Alliance. Various major powers are also paying close attention to this. Zarberg wasn't silly. The reason to why he had to use such roundabout measures were to ensure that it would look legit. The Blue Star Commerce Organization was a member of the Milky Way Alliance's Commerce Alliance and was also one of the top 10 organizations within it. The influence of the Commerce Alliance was beyond doubt, but it also had to follow the rules of the game. Otherwise, other powers would definitely interfere, and the losses would be greater than what they would gain. We wouldn't have to do it ourselves. What we need to do is to provide these people the funding and weapons. Obviously, with the current situation, we will likely need to make use of mercenaries. As long as we can adopt a blitzkrieg and settle it with the Milky Way Alliance when the time comes, everything will be settled and no one will care about a group of barbarians. Moore said with a grinning smile. A conservative estimation would place casualties over several tens of thousands. Zarberg was feeling a little cold. Although he also preferred to adopt the more ruthless method, he had undergone formal education, after all. he still had some lingering fear of slaughtering so many people. However, he wasn't willing to show it externally. How confident are you? The board has already made preparations. As long as the opportunity arises, the mercenaries will arrive. Obviously, to ensure that there are no hiccups, we will still have to make full use of all resources available to us, no matter if it's the Land family or the Milky Way Alliance's Special Action Team. Moore said. Isan was a typical official of the Milky Way Alliance and was also the easiest to deal with. He wouldn't need the help of the Milky Way Alliance's Special Action Team. As long as they did not obstruct him, that would be sufficient. It would be enough to just give him a large retirement sum, such that he wouldn't be able to finish spending it in the latter half of his life. Zarberg was also pondering his options. This project had been dragged on for too long. The longer it dragged out, the more disadvantageous it would be for them, as there would be more powers paying attention to it. They had to quickly obtain controlling rights. Since the Land family isn't willing to do so, let's just destroy them at the same time. They will have to submit to our pressure after declining our request. Zarberg was revealing a hideous look. If everything went on smoothly, the Land family would be behind bars at that moment. Lan Ling, that little slut, would be free for him to deal with. He suddenly felt very happy at the thought of it. Hee, representative, we could make use of the Land family. Old man Lan isn't as righteous as he might seem to be. Moore laughed. It was only a matter of benefits. Since they had decided to round the Land family up in one fell swoop and to nurture a new local power, they might as well make use of the Land family too. It would be a highly profitable project with minimum investment capital. When Wang Zheng returned to the base in Canyon City, he realized that everyone was around and had weird expressions. Wang Zheng, you are quite the brat to have become the section leader quietly, said Lao Shang with an unfriendly expression. Wang Zheng was stunned. The news had spread really quickly. He had not thought much about becoming the section leader. He had become the section leader only because of the situation at that moment. Moreover, with his current identity, it wouldn't be appropriate for him to say anything. However, seniority was important in the military. For a student soldier who had arrived recently and had done nothing much to become the section leader suddenly, everyone would definitely not be convinced. Jing Long seemed to look down on him. If the Red Fox were to be promoted, he should be taking over the position of the section leader. However, he had to continue being the vice section leader. Wang Zheng really did not wish for this to happen. Otaku Berry was silent and clearly considered Wang Zheng to be someone who had manipulated powers for personal benefits. Wang Zheng forced a smile and said, everyone has gotten this wrong. There are certain reasons why it turned out this way, but I will not be taking up the position as section leader. The atmosphere was heavy. Suddenly, everyone burst into laughter. Jing Long came over and patted on Wang Zheng's shoulders. Student Sauter, we were teasing you. Everyone has been convinced about your capabilities. Moreover, you helped our boss become the squadron leader. There would be no reason as to why we would be not convinced. If one has the ambition, age shouldn't matter. Am I right, my brothers? The whole bunk let out a wild growl. Wang Zheng was speechless. You were all playing a prank on me? Haha. That's obvious. You will be our boss in the future. How could we miss such an opportunity? Lao Shang laughed. Your brothers are all good actors. We could consider becoming actors after retiring in the future. With your looks, give the thought a rest. I would be more suitable. Zhang Xiaodan laughed. Everyone was exchanging comments. Basically, they roughly understood Wang Zheng's situation. Wang Zheng was rescued by the Missy of the Land family after crashing onto the Titan star, and their friendship was formed because of it. At the same time, he got to know the people of Tita because of Lan Ling. As for conquering the people of Tita, it might not be possible for others, but as the uncrowned king of the IG, it wouldn't be impossible. Everything we drink and do tonight will be on you, said Jing Long. Your brothers will not miss this opportunity. The crowd started a fuss and Wang Zheng did not know if he should laugh or cry. This matter was really settled with Isan just making a comment. That person is a real fence sitter. He could change his stance quicker than anyone in the current situation. Moreover, this matter has been dragging on for quite some time, said Jing Long. The things that happened during the banquet had helped Isan make a decision. As for the Golden Fox and the Silver Fox, he wouldn't care less as he was their superior. Moreover, those two brats would need to rely on him or they would be suppressed to death by the Red Fox. This could be considered killing two birds with a single stone. Basically, everyone in the inner circle knew about the complete turnaround by the Red Fox. Obviously, everyone knew that there were some elements of a comedy. Wang Zheng is the lucky star of our Red Fox section, growled Otaku very loudly. The nickname made Wang Zheng remember the family business of Tyrant Su. Wang Zheng shivered at the thought. This nickname was too awkward for him, wasn't it? No matter what, Wang Zheng was relieved. The official appointment order came 2 days later. Truthfully speaking, with Wang Zheng's performance in the IG, becoming a section leader would be more than enough. In the military, one's strength and achievements were the absolute principle. No one was too surprised. On the other hand, Kong Zan and 8 came looking for Wang Zheng. Both of them congratulated Wang Zheng. Obviously, Wang Zheng welcomed both of them warmly. Relative to the people of Tita, they were the ones he had similar experiences with. The three of them found a small shop outside the base. 8 was clearly being a little reserved. The others might place more emphasis on Wang Zheng's position, but for the two of them, it was because of Wang Zheng's strength. The truth is that the two of us have long wanted to look for you. However, the competition for the squadron leader had not been settled during those times. It's great now. Since your section has emerged victorious, our captains have encouraged us to come and network with you. Kong Zan laughed. He wasn't hiding or attempting to hide, as this was not important. Wang Zheng laughed and replied, in that case, I have to thank them for giving me this opportunity. I had long wanted to drink with you guys. After coming to this foreign place, it is only the three of us who are familiar with one another. Seeing that Wang Zheng was very easygoing, 8 was finally relieved. He had thought that pros like Wang Zheng might be aloof and arrogant. However, on the contrary, Wang Zheng was more amicable than he had imagined. Our captain said that you were the strongest person she had ever seen, and she made you her goal, said 8. Wang Zheng and Kong Zan knew that 8 was talking about Ao Ziwei. Ao Ziwei is being too courteous. There are many hidden talents within the Milky Way Alliance. Our batch was only a batch of the IG, replied Wang Zheng. He wasn't being humble but really felt that not all the pros were in this batch. Wang Zheng, what are your plans? How long will you be staying here? Asked Kong Zan curiously. He had come to this place because he had taken the initiative to apply to be here. What was Wang Zheng doing here? Wang Zheng forced a smile and replied, it will probably be after resolving the current problem. I will take things as they come. Oh, right, the designer of the Wind God is on the Titan star and will be designing a mech specifically to be used here. Are you two interested in being part of it? Both of their eyes lit up and they agreed almost in unison. They wanted to be closer to Wang Zheng. In a faraway foreign place, those with similar experiences would feel closer to one another. Moreover, they were also curious about what kind of new mech the designer of Wind God would come out with. Kong Zan, what is your ability X? It is of the wind attribute. What is the matter? Kong Zan was taken aback. His ability wasn't worth mentioning in front of Wang Zheng. However, Wang Zheng was exhilarated. What was this about? He was able to find the right person by sheer luck after searching far and wide. It was only then that Wang Zheng realized that for him, it was only a memorable IG competition. However, for his opponents, Wang Zheng and Olivius were both monsters. The various feelings they had when they encountered these monsters couldn't be described with words. Wang Zheng, do you have the intention to enter Academy X after you leave here? Asked 8. Academy X. Yeah, the various major alliances are bounded by their regions and have an Academy X, as well as an Elite Academy X, established within them. It is easier to enter Academy X, but only the pros from various places around Milky Way Alliance have the qualifications to enter the Elite Academy X. Our captain applied to it, but the entrance tests were very difficult, said 8 with a face of envy. Wang Zheng rubbed his nose and replied, it should be all right. With Ao Ziwei's strength, if she couldn't make it, there aren't many that could. The Elite Academy X doesn't consist of just those from the latest IG, but the last few batches as well. There are no limitations on age, but one has to have a relatively mature ability X. Other than that, there are also talents from non-military backgrounds. It could be considered a place where the strong people of the Milky Way Alliance congregate. If one could enter that place, it would definitely result in a breakthrough. The results of the Silver Snake Republic weren't good enough and I couldn't enter it. However, with 2 additional years of trial and training, I could apply for it again. Kong Zan said. Anyone with some level of ambition would also want to go to that place. Oh, right. The Academy has made an exception and accepted Olivius. He was the captain of the IG champions after all. To be accepted directly wouldn't be an issue. Moreover, truthfully speaking, even if Olivius were to enter that place, he wouldn't be one of the weak people. Kong Zan said. From his perspective, that place would be the gathering hub of the real monsters. We should probably solve the problem in front of us first. Wang Zheng laughed. There was still such an interesting place. This was probably something that he would need. He had a thick and solid foundation but was weak in mental strength and theories on ability X. If he had to depend on his little ability to understand on his own, he wouldn't know how long it would take him. Kong Zan and 8 had the same thoughts. If Wang Zheng was also here, what were they whining about? They should be focusing on completing the tasks at hand honestly. They could also likely learn much by following Wang Zheng. On the other hand, Wang Zheng was very interested in Kong Zan's wind attribute ability X. Wang Zheng had considered him to be a subject for research. Wang Zheng also had his thoughts. With such a concentrated wind attribute environment, coupled with the fact that he had someone with the same attribute around him, if he couldn't achieve enlightenment on the wind ability, he would be letting everyone down. In the faraway Earth, Lear had locked himself in a small hut. He was completely shaken. He didn't really mind the white-robed man, who had treated him badly initially. Honestly speaking, he hated others touching his Skylink. He didn't react because of his grandfather. However, after he opened the program, he was completely shaken. The first reaction was that he really wanted to strangle that bastard to death. He was a true idiot. This was because the thing he had transferred to Lear's Skylink was a game. Damn, a game. He was clearly looking for death. Although he was furious, Lear managed to calm down. He eventually decided to open it. The house wasn't lacking of any virtual reality devices. The truth was that similar to CT, virtual reality game had always been popular. However, the Milky Way Alliance had relatively strict or even harsh attention as they felt that the virtual reality world was dangerous. Therefore, various countries were very strict in the control of this aspect. This model was clearly from the black market. This was because it did not have the permission from the Milky Way Alliance. The black markets in various countries would sell such programs, however, they were basically doing it discreetly as no one dared to create a huge fuss. This had aroused Lear's curiosity. However, when he entered, Lear was completely stunned. This was because within this virtual reality called Saint, surprisingly, there were cultivation techniques. To be more correct, it was a virtual reality where one could obtain virtual cultivation techniques through various means. The cultivation techniques were the real stuff. Although he was only able to experience the lowest grade of the cultivation techniques, it was definitely real. Such treasures were surprisingly available in Saint. Who was the one that could create such stuff? Was there still such a terrifying faction in existence in this world? Everyone within Saint was wearing a mask and had a short nickname. Lear felt that there were ordinary people and ability X users in Saint. Without a doubt, there was a method in here that could make an ordinary person become strong and someone strong become invincible. This had shaken the roots that Lear had always been proud of. He saw the old Chronos and the old Chronos seemed to know that Lear would come. You can ask what you want in one go. Since the white-robed man had come, the old Chronos seemed to have completely relaxed. However, he also seemed to have aged a lot. Grandpa, what is the identity of the other party? Why did he have so many cultivation techniques in his possession? The old Chronos stood up. Our 64 Skies refinement was actually stolen. That happened several hundred years ago. At that time, the humans were different from the current us. We had relied on cultivation techniques and technologies to emerge victorious against the Zerg and were able to enter the age of interstellar navigation. At that time, we already knew that the humans would not just conquer the Milky Way Alliance but the whole universe. Old Chronos sighed faintly. However, just when we thought that we had become the masters of the universe, the catastrophe fell upon us. Many of the people who were practicing the cultivation techniques showed signs of losing control. When it happened, they would enter a berserk state, and there was no cure for it. Moreover, it seemed to spread quickly. In a very short amount of time, humans seemed to have found another layer of barriers between the earth and heaven. We couldn't borrow more power from the cultivation techniques as they suddenly lost their effects. Therefore, the origin of the cultivation techniques, Saint Church, was under siege from the highest authority of the human alliance at that time. Although it was called a siege, the Saint Church was already empty when our ancestors entered. Our ancestors had kept a cultivation technique secretly, and that was the 64 skies refinement. Weren't we still fine after practicing this cultivation technique? Rumors had it that the Saint Church did something that went against the will of God and had stopped the self-restoration of the universe. This had caused issues with the people who utilized such cultivation techniques. However, it was definitely a blow to the humans, and we have spent a long amount of time to recover from it. However, the technological level at that time was still very high and the strongest enemies, the Zerg, had been conquered. Therefore, humans started to expand rapidly and formed the current Milky Way alliance. However, the Solar System Federation had lost the ruling position during this process. One reason for it was because of the decreasing power. Another reason was actually that we were made the scapegoat. Old Kronos laughed. What you are saying is that the opportunity for our revival has finally appeared. You are right. From something as large as the universe to something as small as a human, they all have a self-restoring ability. A human can get ill and Earth might experience earthquakes and volcanoes. The self-restoring of the universe is a little more terrifying, but it wouldn't stay damaged for eternity. The opportunity has arisen now. Therefore, the power of our cultivation technique has increased. Although it still can't be compared with the past, it will definitely still be an opportunity for the Kronos family. Lear frowned. Old Kronos smiled and said, "What you are worrying won't be a problem. The scale of the Saint Church wasn't that small. They have been dismantled and went into hiding in those years and have probably suffered as a result of that. Moreover, times have changed. What they need now are capable people. What you have received is, in fact, the selection to become a disciple of the Saint Church. Aren't they afraid that something would leak out? Hee hee. If it was just low-grade cultivation technique, it wouldn't matter. It would only make others desire it more. As for high-grade cultivation techniques, not everyone is able to obtain them. What you mean is that I should focus my energy on this." Lear still couldn't accept it. There was no doubt that one's strength was important. However, in this world, authority and influence were more important. The old Kronos smiled and said, "You can decide on the route to take. From now onwards, the Kronos family will be handed over to you. Whether it will be destroyed or become magnificent, it will be dependent on your decisions." The entire situation had exceeded one's control. The Milky Way alliance was still strong and various major traditional powerhouses had taken shape and couldn't be shaken. The revival of Saint Church was mainly in the dark. If it wasn't because of the opportunity to become stronger, the Saint Church might not be of any use. However, if it was to rise, it would likely be a long process of chances, conflicts, dilemma, reliance and coexistence. This would only mean one thing. The era of chaos was about to descend. Which route would be the right one to take? No one would know. The old Kronos felt very relaxed. He had put down this burden. Everyone on Earth would dream about restoring the establishment that Earthlings in the past had achieved. However, with the coming of the age of interstellar navigation, this dream had drifted further and further away and one could no longer see any hope of achieving it. The old Kronos even felt that if it was not for the solar system being the origin of humans, the Saint Church might not even care about it as they only required disciples. Opportunity had to be captured by oneself. The old butler, Droop, walked over slowly and handed him another thing. It was the examination notice for the Elite Academy X. There were many different routes, and Lear had to make the right choice. After pondering for some time, Lear's eyes lit up. Suddenly, he realized why his grandfather was so happy. The Saint Church was within the Milky Way Alliance, and the Milky Way Alliance was within the Saint Church. There was finally a crack in the door to victory. At the very least, he had something more than others. At the same time, Achilles and Lai Shin had received the notice for the entrance examination for the Elite Academy X. In the solar system, only Lear, Achilles, Lai Xin, and Wang Zheng had an official slot. There was a remaining slot open for recommendation. After expending much of its connections, the Kronos family was finally able to help Luo Fei obtain the last slot. For a long period of time, the Kronos family would have to be cautious and behaved. Favors from others and connections were things that had to be returned. Wang Zheng's notice was in the hands of Meng Ao. Every cloud had a silver lining. Although there were still 6 months, he could use this as an excuse to recall Wang Zheng. Undoubtedly, Meng Ao and the rest were the most happy about it. Therefore, he had not obstructed the Kronos family when they were trying to fight for Luo Fei's slot. Because of this, the Kronos family would not be able to prevent them from recalling Wang Zheng. In Meng Ao's imagination, Wang Zheng must be in dire straits. He might even be resenting his life. However, it would also be great for a teenager to undergo such trials. Meng Ao was not in a hurry, as he understood that one could only achieve success after sharpening and honing his character. What he didn't know was that student Wang was very happy with his current life. Due to him becoming the section leader and his relationship with the Lan family, Wang Zheng basically had no need to attend the formalities. He had spent his time on training, mech research, and teaching his disciples instead. Giants of Tita as disciples. Other than Rara Durai and Shan Meng, Mu Sen had selected 2 extremely talented giants from the Pool tribe and Ling Shan tribe and gifted them to Wang Zheng. Mu Sen even sent 6 giants to bring huge amounts of native products as tributes to Ada for this matter. Looking at the teasing face of Yi Zisu, Wang Zheng felt that he seemed to be a crook and was bullying kids. On the other hand, Kong Zan and Ate's eyes almost popped out after seeing the giants bowing down on the floor to Wang Zheng. One wouldn't have to worry about surprises when one was with Wang Zheng. Lan Ling had naturally tagged along. Although this was the first encounter between Lan Ling and Yi Zisu, it would have a huge impact on humans for the following 10 years or more. Relationships between women are different from relationships between men. They believe a lot in first impressions. This is because either that they could be friends instantly or completely not have such feelings. From the first time Lan Ling and Yi Zisu met, the two of them could feel a sense of agreement. A strange atmosphere was forming between the two of them. Yi Zisu. Lan Ling. The 2 girls smiled as they met and had the feeling that they had known each other for a long time. Without the need for introductions by Wang Zheng, the 2 of them started to shake hands and chatted happily, disregarding the people around them. They only regretted they didn't meet sooner. Wang Zheng was a little dumbfounded. What was this about? Otaku Berry was already completely convinced by Wang Zheng. Who was Lan Ling? She was definitely the gem of the Titan star, and yet Wang Zheng could invite her over as he said he could. An erudite person was indeed an erudite person, and we couldn't use an ordinary person's way of thinking to predict what the erudite person could do. Yi Zisu and Lan Ling hit it off well. Obviously, this was because they had similar personalities. At the same time, their identities and backgrounds were also similar. This was completely different from Aina. Aina seemed to be too high up, to the point that it made her feel unapproachable. Even Yi Zisu felt that way. However, Lan Ling was different. What was more important was that they had the same type of eyes. They lacked a friend who they could share things that were bothering them. When they first saw each other, they immediately knew that the other party was the person they had been looking for. Wang Zheng felt a little helpless. What was this about? The 2 girls had been chattering for over an hour now, yet they weren't finished. Were there so many things to talk about? Wang Zheng and Otaku Berry introduced the situation at hand as well as their prototype concepts to Kong Zan together. Our current design is based on the blueprints of the Wind God. Considering the situation on the Titan star, the magnetic force source would be completely useless in this place. Therefore, the ways to increase the mobility of the mech and increasing the defensive capabilities would be the most pressing issue currently. Kong Zan, you are a Wind Attribute Ability X user. Do you have any thoughts about it? Wang Zheng laughed. Kong Zan pondered for some time. I have not thought of this problem before. It is indeed a headache considering the situation of the Titan star. The unstable magnetic field might be due to the supergravity energy minerals. For human warriors who are used to energy shields for protection and laser weapons, it is clearly not convenient. First, we would have to decide on the positioning of this mech. Will it be used against the people of Tita or humans? After all, Kong Zan was the captain of the Silver Snake Republic and had a very clear head. It isn't to be used specifically against anyone. What is important is to fully demonstrate the powers of the strong wind attribute environment. This star restricts other ability X users and therefore definitely allows wind ability X users to better display their abilities. As for this aspect, we are completely unable to achieve it. Wang Zheng's concept was along the line of a super mech that would be capable of going against 100 enemies. The most important thing to achieve was to rely on the deterrence of the super mech. This would allow it to solve the conflict more conveniently. Attacking wasn't a problem. No matter if it was a non-explosive weapons or an armor-piercing rounds, the types of weapons used would be similar to the existing ones. However, mobility and defense were areas that had to be resolved and improved. On the other side, Yi Zhisu and Lan Ling were already very close. Their gazes shifted towards Wang Zheng from time to time. Initially, I thought that the princess was you. Lan Ling's gossiping heart was boiling with enthusiasm. She had a rough idea about Wang Zheng's situation. She was also clear about the situation with Yi Zhisu. Could they be considered childhood friends? The little princess of OMG was also in possession of hundreds of millions of assets. A normal person would definitely not have to worry about clothing and food. This was at least the case for Earth. In the solar system, she would also be able to live comfortably. The crucial thing was that Yi Zhisu had a great personality and was also very beautiful. It really isn't me. Yi Zhisu smiled. In her eyes, there was a strange feeling. We seem to be able to become really close friends. Who could she be? Based on what you had said, he is also the biggest shareholder of King. I have also heard of that project. Furthermore, he is also a talent of the IG. What kind of girl can be so high and influential and be able to capture his heart? I really wish to meet her. Lan Ling's lips pouted slightly and she was clearly not convinced. Deep inside her, Lan Ling was the same as Yi Zhisu. She had great confidence in herself. Although they didn't belittle others, they believed firmly that they would be more outstanding. Sister Lan Ling. Let's stop the gossiping. I can see that Wang Zheng is going crazy. Alright, it seems that you are quite protective of him. Gossip? He owes me a lot for saving his life. I believe I can find a way to dig the answer out of him. After all, Lan Ling was truly Wang Zheng's life savior and debtor. This debt of life wouldn't be so easily repaid. She could tell that Wang Zheng still had thoughts of the girl that had dumped him. This was an aspect that Lan Ling respected. This had at least proven that Wang Zheng wasn't someone who would love just anyone he saw. On the other hand, she also felt that it wasn't worthwhile. There were two sides in a relationship. Being too stubborn would be unwise. A new relationship would definitely be the best cure. When Yi Zhisu and Lan Ling joined the discussion, things started to get more interesting. The mecha research and development that the Lan family had devoted all their efforts to had achieved a certain level of success. When she heard about the two pressing issues from Yi Zhisu, Lan Ling chuckled to herself. Zhisu, one of the issues can be solved. With regard to the issue regarding the transmission of the wind element, it is in fact a simple matter. G material together with the supergravity energy mineral could perfectly achieve it. The source of the problem would be the supergravity energy mineral. At the same time, it would also be the key to the new mech. Not only that, once it is added, this mech will also be able to display the same effects to a certain extent on other stars. Although it won't be as strong as on the Titan star, it will still allow ordinary warriors to be able to access battle powers close to ability X users. Lan Ling laughed. It was then that everyone realized that it was such a big market. It was not being excavated currently. However, once it was, the possibilities were endless. If that's the case, my thoughts on movement and displacements could be realized. Since it would be based mainly on the wind attribute, that move has to have the unique characteristics of wind. I have conceptualized a method for the mech to ride the winds. That would be to use high-speed drift with the wind currents. Yi Zhisu's eyes lit up, while the rest were dumbfounded. Yi Zhisu turned on the simulator in front of them. In the simulation, the mech was shuffling along various unfixed paths. However, it was clearly faster and more agile than merely flying in a straight line. Using the supergravity energy mineral, I could design a wind trail. The movement speed would likely be slightly faster than the wind god. Obviously, there are technical aspects within it that we would have to overcome. Yi Zisou said excitedly. She had already formed a concept in her mind. Wind trail. Wang Zheng closed his eyes gently. In his mind, he could already picture a silver-colored mech moving around like lightning. When wind was pushed to its extremities, there would be lightning formed. If that's the case, the weapons to be equipped should include a blade, a long blade specifically, to aid in slashing and killing. We should also try to minimize obstructions to it, said Wang Zheng. What are we waiting for? Let's start moving. Otaku Berry had awakened from the shock of Lan Ling's arrival. Once the topic was the stuff in this aspect, he would be lost in it. Although we might be close, the accounts should be clear. It seems that we are close to achieving a collaboration, said Lan Ling. Yi Zisou also smiled. Sister's orders, I would definitely not object. Nonetheless, you cannot just bully me. OMG would be providing the design, while the Lan family would provide the resources. This was because the excavation rights to the supergravity energy mineral were with the Lan family. Obviously, the two of them had only achieved a preliminary agreement currently. Lan Ling had already arranged for people to extract the minerals. She would want to at least have the prototype mech out so as to find areas for improvements and innovations. With the help of the Lan family and the prior preparations made by Yi Zisou, the speed of designing this model of mech had accelerated to the next level. For the following month, everyone had entered quite a busy period. The Red Fox had also made it easier for Wang Zheng after becoming the squadron leader. Although Wang Zheng was the section leader in name, Jing Long was the de facto leader of the Red Fox section now. As for the Golden Fox and Silver Fox, they understood the situation and had also made it easy for Kong Zhan and 8 to help Wang Zheng. The two of them had a clear understanding of the current situation. The Red Fox had become the squadron leader. Moreover, she had a connection with Wang Zheng. If they were to instigate a direct confrontation, they would be idiots. The Red Fox wasn't a squadron leader who would be unable to accommodate others. She also had things that she had to worry about. Becoming the squadron leader was only the beginning. This was because the activities of the Blue Star Commerce Organization had been rather frequent recently. It was clear that they were getting a little impatient. In the vast universe, delivery ship after delivery ship were heading towards the Titan star. In one of the cargo holds of a delivery ship, it was complete darkness. At this moment, the door opened and the lights within the cargo lit up one after another. What was inside were rows and rows of battle robots. Mecha were undoubtedly the weapons for conquering by humans. However, to conquer a star with numerous inhabitants in a harsh environment, low IQ battle robots were undoubtedly the best choice. There might be a lot of giants, but could you compete with the noble sciences of humans? At the same time, the teams of A-grade mercenaries were also within them. What would happen to the people of Tita with a battle robot army paired with mercenaries that had a wealth of battle experience? Complete destruction. Zarberg was looking at the stars and he could almost feel that he could catch sight of victory. Surprisingly, Wang Zheng had received a transferred signal from the faraway solar system. When the image of Meng Ao appeared, Wang Zheng immediately stood up and saluted. Meng Ao smiled and said, "It seems that you have been coping well on the Titan star." "Sir, it is pretty good here," Wang Zheng laughed. "Hee hee. The holidays are over. Prepare to return." Meng Ao was direct. The situation on the Titan star was a little more sensitive and wouldn't be conducive for Wang Zheng to stay behind for a longer time. Wang Zheng was stunned. "I have to go back already?" Wang Zheng thought that he would have to wait till the situation had become more stable. Moreover, his mech design project wasn't completed yet. He had always thought that he would be staying around for a longer time. "Just follow the orders. The administrative procedures will take approximately 1 to 2 weeks. You should also make your preparations to face the new challenges. The Titan star. You could just treat it as a holiday trip," Meng Ao said before he switched off the Skylink. Clearly, the general would not explain anything to Wang Zheng. This brat was rather interesting. He seemed to like being exiled. He had no idea that Lear and the rest had made huge strides forward. Staying in places like the Titan star for long would only hinder his development. The opportunity to attend the Elite Academy X must be held tight. Only those who had entered there would be qualified to become the elites of humans. It was the congregation place for the most advanced technologies and resources of the Milky Way Alliance. Those who graduated from there would become the pillars of the Milky Way Alliance and not just a certain federation. As for the details, even Meng Ao was not qualified to know about them. Once accepted, the security clearance of one's Skylink would be raised directly to Grade A when one was out for mission. It could also be temporarily raised to Grade S. As the General of the Solar System Federation, his security clearance was only at Grade A. After switching off the Skylink, Wang Zheng was still stunned for some time. It had only been a short time since he had decided to achieve something on the Titan star. Yet he had been summoned back. Frankly speaking, Wang Zheng did not wish to leave. He had always wanted to complete what he had started. Moreover, with his relationship with the Lan family and the people of Tita, this wasn't something that definitely couldn't be resolved. If the new mech was developed, with the commercial value of this model of mech, it would be enough as the capital for the initial development of the Titan star. There would be no need to engage in destructive excavation. What was more important was that this would be different from the Commerce Organization, where they stocked up while waiting for the price to increase. What Wang Zheng wanted to do was merely a very ordinary form of research and development. There were enough benefits. Moreover, with the guarantee of such a mech, the Titan star would also possess their own military strength for protection when they entered the Milky Way Alliance officially. The reason why the Lan family had been weak internally was also because of their lack of battle force. When he heard the news, Wang Zheng told it to Zissou and the rest. The rest felt regret over it but also felt happy for Wang Zheng. After all, Wang Zheng was going to obtain a better opportunity and shouldn't be stopped. However, the administrative procedures weren't easy. After some delays, Wang Zheng felt that he should be able to see the prototype mech before he left. The initial form of the mech of the combination use of G material and the supergravity energy mineral was ready. In the aspect of production of mecha, humans were already very familiar with it. The difficulty lay with making technological breakthroughs. All they could do now was wait for the mech to take shape so as to see if what could work in theory would also be able to work as well in the reality. The supergravity sliding rail, once activated, could instantly provide a sliding track for the mech. If it was used by a wind attribute ability X user, the whole process could be quickened. However, in the defensive aspect, there weren't any better thoughts at the current moment. The simplest way of thinking would be to add an additional shield. However, a shield would be too big and definitely wouldn't work. If it were to slow the mech down, the mech would be pointless. However, if there wasn't a shield, there wouldn't be any defensive capabilities and this mech would seem to be too fragile. As they were immersed within the research, they didn't realize that a storm was brewing outside. After half a month, the first wind attribute battle mech was completed. Yi Zissou and the rest were all working overtime. Lan Ling and the rest were also staying at the research lab. Rara Durai and the rest were also helping during the times when they weren't training. With the strengths of the giants, it was much more convenient and easier to equip and dismantle equipment. The first wind attribute battle mech hadn't been named. The first priority for everyone was to see if this mech would be effective. The order for the deployment of Wang Zheng had been communicated. However, there was no rush as there weren't any clear instructions that he had to leave immediately. All that was said was that it would be fine as long as he left within a month. This allowed Wang Zheng to feel relaxed and relieved. There was at least some more time to make the new mech more perfect. As the first person to experience the first mech, Kong Zan operated the mech by walking around the training ground. Yi Zissou and the rest were looking at the data nervously. The truth was that the only innovation in this mech was the supergravity sliding rail. Would the mech be able to possess unparalleled power? Kong Zan spent over 10 minutes to get used to the mech. As the captain of the Silver Snake Republic, he would have the experience in using various advanced mecha. Performance is great and this mech would likely be competitive. This was a conservative evaluation as this alone would not be nearly enough. The key was the supergravity sliding rail. Kong Zan took a deep breath and made preparations for the mech to make a sudden lunging movement. At the same time, he activated the supergravity sliding rail and invoked his ability X. In an instant, the mech scurried forward violently for over 10 meters. Without losing any momentum, it rushed forward. Kong Zan almost failed to control it. Everyone had their eyes opened wide open and were staring at the data on the screen. Instantly, everyone let out a thunderous cheer. They had succeeded. Lan Ling felt that it was a little impossible. The Lan family had not been able to create an effective prototype after researching for so long. However, with Yi Zisu, a unique idea was surprisingly successful. Kong Zan, please try it again without using your ability X, said Yi Zisu with keen, sparkling eyes. The truth was that she had this thought since a long time ago. It was just that her initial intention was to make use of magnetic force. She hadn't expected the supergravity energy mineral to have increased the design effects in an instant. Kong Zan operated the mech and performed ordinary movements and displacements multiple times. They were a clear difference. Moving with wind, attribute ability X, the supergravity energy mineral had a special reaction effect with the mech. The speed and control over the mech had increased by several times. However, the ordinary movement and displacement would also sweep and dominated over any mecha on the market. This had allowed the pros to have more room for operating. In other words, Yi Zisu's design was successful. Everyone was cheering, but Yi Zisu still seemed a little calm. This was because it still wouldn't be enough. Her design for this mech wasn't that simple. However, Kong Zan's ability in operating it was not able to fully maximize the capabilities of the mech. Zisu, what's the matter? Are there any other problems? Wang Zheng asked. His interests had already been aroused by what he saw. However, he wasn't a wind attribute ability user. If he was, he would definitely enjoyed it himself to the fullest. The difference was great. He could feel that the effects of his ice and fire ability were extremely weak in this place. Did you remember the temporary energy shield of the wind god? Wang Zheng nodded. He obviously remembered. He had executed it subconsciously previously. It was through the usage of expanding energy. However, it was only temporary. It was the effect of energy siphoning. The truth is that this effect can be controlled. Although the difficulty is extremely high, a pro could obtain control over it after training. The defense of this mech isn't enough. Due to the situation in this place, I have also added the siphoning design into this mech. Including the titanium blade, I have added the supergravity energy mineral in hopes that through the friction during attacks and making use of the supergravity sliding rail, the dispersed wind attribute energy would form a temporary windshield. Yi Zisu said. The technicians around were dumbfounded and were engaged in discussions. There was no wonder now that Yi Zisu was being so demanding during the designing phase, such as making it absolutely a must to ensure some unnecessary angles were also followed. No one had expected it to be because of this. This was too difficult for everyone. Kong Zan also heard it. He shook his head while forcing a smile. That type of movement could probably be done only by Wang Zheng. Wang Zheng's Hercules, Wind God, Gold Wheel, and Phantom King were considered to be the 4 unbreakable mecha in the IG. It was entirely because the pilot was different. One could only imagine the number of academies that were doing research on these 4 models of mecha. Rumors had it that Manalasuo had restarted the Golden Wheel plan and wanted to nurture a batch of super warriors specializing in operating the Golden Wheel. The strength of humans lay within their terrifying ability to learn. Before Wang Zheng had demonstrated it, there might not be anyone who could have thought of it. However, when Wang Zheng had become the sample, there would definitely be people who could replicate it. Wang Zheng, give it a try too. Even if you do not have a wind attribute ability, you can also test the limits of the mech, said 8. Wang Zheng nodded his head. He had seen the production of this model of mech. It was using over-the-top methods. After all, it was a prototype and would definitely be made to test the extreme limits. If it was to be mass-produced, it would definitely not adopt such advanced manufacturing techniques. Wang Zheng entered the mech and felt the combination with the G material. Using the Wind God as the base, it was indeed a huge improvement. It was also more comfortable. He started the mech. In the arena, the mech moved around slowly, after which, it started to accelerate and run. Following which, Wang Zheng made all kinds of weird movements. Stretching, lunging forward, and even surprising high leg whips and spinning attacks that had no blind spot. A normal mech wouldn't be able to withstand such torture. The mech seemed to be a piece of cloth that was worn on the body of the pilot. After this set of moves, the employees of the Lan family were dumbfounded. They had always heard that Wang Zheng was someone who liked to act cool and didn't know clearly what level he was at. They had only heard that he was powerful but only seen him pointing his fingers around the whole day. So he was so fierce and ruthless. Wang Zheng was able to get familiarized with various mecha very quickly. Moreover, this model of mecha was in fact a larger wind god. It was more stable and had transformed from a scout type to a warrior type. The focus was on the use of the super-gravity sliding rail. Wang. The mech slid out aggressively. At the same time, the titanium blade was lashed out. Wang. It was rather fluid. Wang Zheng felt very comfortable. If the super-gravity energy mineral had the same performance on other stars, this would definitely be an explosive invention. At the same time, the Titan star would become an even more sensitive place. However, this was something that Wang Zheng and even the Lan family couldn't control. One couldn't really know if the birth of this mech would be something good or bad. Wang Wang Wang. Asterisk, a fluent and rapid sliding slash was completed in a single move. Surprisingly, due to this sudden momentum, there was a mysterious strength behind the slash of the titanium blade. Wang Zheng could feel it soon. During the instance of the rapid slash, the titanium blade seemed to have extended. This was because the titanium blade had the super-gravity energy mineral added to it too. Obviously, one had to maintain the weapon's durability. The proportion had to be controlled so as to not go against the initial intention. However, this alone in the overall coordination of the mech had a seemingly mysteriously continuous effect. Wang Wang Wanga. The mech was making consecutive movements within the training ground. The speed was indeed not as fast as when Kong Zhan used his ability X, however, it was more fluid. The mech and titanium blade seemed to have become one and was unbreakable. Moreover, it seemed that it could be seen with the naked eyes that the surface of the titanium blade had its own aura to it. Wang Zheng operated the mech and rushed at high speed towards the target. At the instant of a sliding movement, the titanium blade was swung out suddenly. Kill. Wang. The target was split apart in an instant. However, the titanium blade had not even touched the target. Wind slash. Those who were spectating were surprised and stunned. Hoa, could this be possible? Kong Zhang's jaw had also dropped. He exchanged glances with 8 and both of them didn't know what to say. It wasn't that he wasn't putting in much effort in experiencing the mech previously. Moreover, he was even an ability X user. The destructive powers of the same mech had changed drastically in Wang Zheng's hands. It was too magical. Could this be the continuous effect of the super-gravity energy mineral? Lan Ling was also rather surprised. Yi Zisu completed recording the data and smiled. This is due mainly to the special environment of the Titan star. The ions that were accumulated during rapid movements and slashes are reflected by the super-gravity mineral after they reach a certain level. This was truly a magical star. It gave Yi Zisu too many inspirations. Without such a place, no one would have come out with such creativity. Without a doubt, this would be another breakthrough since the wind god. Lan Ling was exhilarated. Once the Lan family had a mecha army like this, they wouldn't have to pay attention to the commerce organization. Sister Zisu, I will return to Lan Kao City to discuss with Grandpa a deeper collaboration between us, Lan Ling said excitedly. Yi Zisu was also very happy. Let us create a miracle. There were two important aspects to this mech. One of them was design and the other would be materials. Without the super-gravity energy mineral, one would not be able to build anything. Sun Xin, who was at the side, wanted to say something but kept quiet. Lan Ling had headed outside excitedly. However, she was stopped by the guards suddenly. From the start of the project, the Lan family had not only brought along a lot of technicians and workers, they had also brought along many guards. Moreover, they were rather unfamiliar with Lan Ling. They weren't Metheus and his group. It was just that Lan Ling didn't mind. I'm sorry, miss. The chief has orders that you can't leave the base. Lan Ling was stunned. She took a look at Sun Xin. Sun Xin lowered her head. What is actually happening? The nervous atmosphere around this place had only started 2 days ago. Initially, she had thought that it was to protect the research lab. However, it would seem to be because of another entirely different matter. Miss. Forget it. I will ask Grandpa directly. Lan Ling opened her Skylink. Lan Zhong, who was on the opposite end, accepted the call without much delay. Uncle Grandpa, what is happening? Lan Ling had returned to her calm and composed self when the Skylink call was connected. Ling, there were some things that I had tried my best in. I can only wait for the results now, Lan Zhong said. She couldn't see many expressions. Lan Ling was stunned for a moment but recovered shortly. The Commerce Organization is going to take action? Lan Zhong did not reply. Clearly, he acquiesced. Uncle Grandpa, why didn't you stop them? How could the Commerce Organization withstand the alliance between us and the people of Tita? Moreover, there is also the Milky Way Alliance's Special Action Team. How could they be so daring? Lan Ling said worriedly. When she was with the tribes of Tita, she truly felt the passion of these people. They were willing to befriend the humans. It was just that they were wary of the desires of humans. The wise ones were very sensitive. Uncle Grandpa, our new mech research has been successful. We will have enough capital for initial construction. We will not even need to collaborate with the Commerce Organization. Ling, some things aren't as simple as you think. You should not care about such matters anymore. For this period of time, you should just stay within the research lab. It will be very safe in there. Finishing, Lan Zhong hung up his Skylink. When Lan Ling tried to call again, she was no longer able to reach him. After hearing Lan Ling's answer, everyone was stunned. The Blue Star Commerce Organization was going to make their move? After some consideration, Yi Zisu knew that it wouldn't turn out well. If the people of the Commerce Organization obtain control on the mineral reserves, our design will be in vain. This was something that Yi Zisu knew clearly. However, Wang Zheng and the rest were thinking about another matter. The Commerce Organization was declaring war on the people of Tita? There is a large number of Tita people. Where did the Commerce Organization find such a large military force? Wang Zheng asked. The Commerce Alliance is a massive organization. Money makes the world go round. The Blue Star Commerce Organization is one of the main members. They have been locking down information while making preparations. I'm afraid they have already completed the first step. The usual practice of the Commerce Organization would be to use the mercenaries and robot teams, bribing any opposing powers, and creating public discussion, Lan Ling replied. She was starting to feel worried for the people of Tita. The empire that was most fond of exporting military goods was Arbiter. They had created huge amounts of such robotic troops and supplied them to the Commerce Organization. At the same time, they received a huge amount of capital from the Commerce Organization, and this had allowed them to grow even stronger. With the current military strength of Arbiter, everyone would merely close one eye. Moreover, every single strong empire made military sales. At this moment, numerous transport ships appeared at the suburbs of the 5 main cities. The transport ships started to descend. Batch after batch of combat robots walked out and headed towards the wilderness. They were executing a kill and exterminate mission. At the same time, they were imposing martial law in various major human cities. Humans would be better off with the people of Tita eliminated. What was crucial was that before others knew about what had happened, the war would already be over. As for the public comments and discussion, it would be left to the professionals to come out with a story. Mr. Consul, what is happening? How could the Commerce Organization be going against the Constitution by deploying combat robots to attack a peaceful star? I request to report to the Milky Way Alliance immediately and adopt emergency procedures at the same time. The Red Fox said angrily. However, Ai-san was very much at ease. When the Red Fox had finished venting her frustration, Ai-san said gently, I have reported this matter upwards. However, there was a problem with the signal. The technicians are trying to tackle the key problems. As the squadron leader, I request that you ensure the safety of humans living in the cities. Consul, this is clearly an invasion. Squadron leader, please mind your position and execute the orders. As for other matters, you won't have to worry over them. Ai-san said seriously. The Red Fox and several people within the section had truly treated this star as their home. They truly hoped to be able to make this beautiful star even better, and humans and the people of Tita could coexist peacefully and prosperously like many other multi-ethnic stars. However, it was clear that not everyone was thinking the same way. Ai-san must have been bribed. He did not have to do anything. He would just have to delay the whole matter till everything was over and everything had been settled. A transmission lockdown. The Commerce Organization had started to make its move a while ago. They had not intended to engage in negotiation or collaborations from the very start. On the other hand, they were making preparations. Once they had enough military strength. When the order was disrupted, who would still be talking about the wonderful times? When she left the office of the consul, the Red Fox knew that she couldn't just continue waiting, she had to do something. The battle had started from the exteriors of the 5 major human cities. Huge amounts of robot forces started pouring in. The reorganization teams were still making preparations to descend. The costs were very high, but the profits were even higher. The Blue Star Commerce Organization was not only in legal business, but also in slavery. On stars where slavery was retained, goods like the Giants would definitely be a popular labor force of guards. Obviously, they had to announce to the people of Tita what was conquering using military force. The battle had started without any warning. The people of Tita who were living near the exterior of the cities were eliminated before being able to react. The robot forces were equipped with genocidal weapons. They were only 2 types of equipped weapons, and they were armor-piercing rounds and flamethrowers. It would be more convenient to rebuild after burning everything to the ground. At the same time, they could also avoid any disease that the corpses might bring. It was truly a move with multiple benefits. Zarberg and Moore had already raised their wine cups. The outcome of the war was not a problem. The only problem was how to start the war. Once everything had been arranged, what was left was only celebration. It was definitely something that the Commerce Alliance was familiar with. One could only blame the Titan Star for not entering the Milky Way Alliance, causing them to not have a seat or even a speaking right. Congratulations, Representative. When this business is completed, you will definitely earn the praises of the board. Uncle Moore, I still have to depend on you for devising strategies. Your nephew has learned a lot from you. What are you saying? I was just your assistant. Moore laughed. He clearly knew his position. I did not expect the Land family to betray the people of Tita. I even thought that they would be resolute. 100 years of friendship could be destroyed with just the flick of a finger. Zarberg was feeling a little regretful. This was because his hobby was to write poems. The Titan Star was truly pretty beautiful. The girls might not be as wild and fashionable, but they had the purity that couldn't be found elsewhere. Old Man Lan refused to give in initially. However, we knew about his bottom line. All along, the Lan family was just putting on a brave front and couldn't deploy the Giants of Tita. This could be seen during the banquet. Moreover, after witnessing our strong military forces, he would naturally make the choice between being eliminated together with the people of Tita or becoming a lackey of ours. Moore smiled gently. The truth was just like the backbone of someone and make one choose to make the correct decision. I want that brat Lan Ling. After I have played with her, I will leave this place. Zarberg finished the red wine in his hand. He enjoyed this type of life. Moore nodded his head and said, it would be better to nurture a new power instead of using the Lan family. They would be more obedient. However, before everything ends, we have to continue with our acts secretly. In the research lab, Wang Zheng had received the news from the Red Fox. The Blue Star Commerce Organization had really made their move. Currently, there were over 10 Panama-grade cargo ships that were transporting large amounts of combat robots and mercenaries into this place. At the same time, there were bombardment ships which used physical explosions in place. From their equipment, it was clear that the Commerce Organization had started their preparations a long time ago. They had not intended for negotiations from the very start. How could they be so rampant? Isn't there anyone who was in charge? Is the Milky Way Alliance dead? Kong Zan said angrily as he could not hold back anymore. The Titan Star has not entered the Milky Way Alliance. Although the Milky Way Alliance has a constitution, with no one taking the initiative, who would have done so in such a situation? Even if human rights activists were to protest, it would be after the whole incident has ended. They would then naturally provide a series of reasons, Yi Zisu said calmly with a sense of helplessness. She looked at Lan Ling as the Lan family had a greater say in it. At this time, Wang Zheng's Skylink rang again. An image was transmitted over. It was sent from the base where the Red Fox was at. The girls who were present immediately turned around. Everything was burnt to ashes and the burnt corpses of the people of Tita were everywhere. They might not even know what had happened. Lan Ling bit her lip. Since the humans had migrated to this place, the people of Tita had not objected to it but only chose to maintain a distance from them. Tribes like the Pool tribe even provided aid to the early immigrants for them to build their homes till the discovery of the supergravity energy mineral. Captain, the existence of the Milky Way Alliance's Special Action Team was to prevent such matters from happening. Why aren't we taking action yet? 8 said. The Red Fox was trying to hide her anger. She had fallen for it. The whole incident might be something that the Consul had arranged and she had become the scapegoat. This incident that happened would be the direct responsibility of the squadron leader. The Golden Fox and Silver Fox being so calm and cooperative was entirely a show. Although the Consul would bear some punishment, what he would gain from it would far exceed the minor punishment he would have to bear. The Red Fox had finally understood. She was no match for them in scheming. The key was that other than her own section, she couldn't mobilize anyone else. As a soldier, there were things she adhered to. However, with the current situation, she had no rights to send her section mates to death. Lan Ling, what is the Lan family's stance on this matter? Asked Wang Zheng. Grandpa. Lan Ling gritted her teeth. She knew how much the people of Tita had helped the Lan family. Including her ancestors, what the Lan family had now was because of the people of Tita. They were smart and passionate. Their only request in the development plan was to not have their home destroyed. They did not even make much requests in the benefits of the mining of the ore. What about you? Asked Wang Zheng. Lan Ling was taken aback. I'm on the side of the people of Tita. Suddenly, everyone realized the atmosphere around Wang Zheng had changed drastically. In his eyes, one could clearly see killing intent. These are only the vanguard teams of the Commerce Organization. We have to inform the people of Tita as soon as possible. Zissou, please try your best to come up with a way to let the news out. What we have to do is to defend and hold our ground till we have a response from the Milky Way Alliance. As long as the news spread, the Milky Way Alliance would not allow such a matter that infringed upon the Constitution to continue. That would only cause the collapse of the rule of the Milky Way Alliance. We shouldn't forget about the Atlanteans, Mayans, Ghanaians, and many others. There were many other strong races within the Milky Way Alliance. Yi Zissou nodded her head decisively. Let's split up. Lan Ling and I will go to the Pool tribe. The people of Tita mustn't have realized the seriousness of this matter yet. Martial law has already been imposed outside. If that's the case, we just have to kill our way out. Kong Zhan and 8, I will leave the safety of the people here to the two of you, said Wang Zheng. Rest assured, Rara Durai and the other giants still didn't know what had happened. When they heard the situation from Wang Zheng, all of them let out an angry growl. Rara, you guys will follow me and charge out. Remember, don't desire for a battle. What is more important now is to inform Elder Mu Senator the situation is very grave. Wang Zheng said with a serious tone. His voice wasn't loud but was like a low-pitched cannon and caused the roof to tremble. This was able to calm the anger amongst the giants slightly. Wang Zheng entered the new mech and left a giant behind to follow him. Luckily, there was giant battle armor in this place. If not, they might not even have had the opportunity to make it out. Wang Zheng had originally wanted to bring only Rara Durai and Shan Meng along and leave the other 4 giants behind. However, they were unwilling to stay behind, no matter what he said. They would rather die on the battlefield when they knew that their own kind was suffering. Death and war was glory to a Tita warrior. The humans within the cities weren't clear of the situation outside. However, they still knew that war had begun. A majority of the humans were against it. The immigrants of the Titan star had been living here for a long time and enjoyed the peaceful environment around them. The key was that this was a war started by the Commerce Organization due to benefits. The ones who would enjoy the benefits would definitely not be them, and they would lose their homes once again. However, the police was already out in full force. The whole city was under martial law. Combat robots were deployed in the main street. Anyone who was causing disruptions to the order would be arrested. Obviously, it would be in the name of safety. Isan had always made sure that he had considered everything. He would not have done it if he had not made full preparations for it. If he was successful this time, not only he would be able to receive a large sum of remuneration, he would also receive 1% of the profits from the supergravity energy mineral. It would be enough for his lifetime. He had no intentions to spend his entire life working as a consul on a barbaric star. Everything was under control. These barbarians could only surrender under the artillery fire. The small-scale war had started. Without any exception, the tribes of the people of Tita were all buried in the sea of flames. The combat robots only cared about slaughtering, while some of the mercenaries were fond of torturing before killing. Mercenaries who were willing to take on such jobs were no different from pirates. Wang Zheng was piloting the new mech and took the lead in rushing out. There wasn't anyone who could stop him in Lankou City. When dealing with his own people, he would not kill them. All he did was break the combat capabilities of the opponent's mecha. The other party was only executing orders given to them. Occasionally, these damn orders were truly troublesome. This could be seen from his encounters. If one met a leader like Meng Ao, he would likely plead for leniency on his behalf. If it was others, they would have sacrificed Wang Zheng to appease the anger of Aslan or for benefits. These emotions did not disappear but were hidden deep in his heart. If it wasn't because of Wang Zheng and the others that gave him a reason to, Wang Zheng had felt that he would likely not be able to control these emotions. However, the damn commerce organization had nothing to do with him. The new mech model was leading the way. Although it might not look great, its effectiveness was great. The 6 giants followed behind him closely. The group had rushed towards the exit of the city and had not met much resistance. It was probably because not many people had the time to react to it. The order that the police force received was most likely to only maintain order. After all, the conflict over the mineral reserves had been around for a long time. Everyone would have guessed that the commerce organization had made its move. They wouldn't have thought that the giants were attacking the city, because if the giants wanted to attack the city, they would have done so over the last 100 years and there wouldn't be a today. When Wang Zheng brought Rara Darai across the streets, there were even cheers for them. Rara Darai and the other giants' expressions relaxed a little. They knew that it was the humans that wanted the mineral that had started the war. However, only the Pool tribe had made much contact with humans and therefore were likely to understand. The other people of Tita might not be thinking the same way. Wang Zheng piloted the mech and was leading the way as they rushed out of Lankou City. The 6 giants together with Lan Ling were following behind closely. After exiting the city, everyone could see the soaring black smoke amidst a sea of red. Rara Darai and the rest clenched their fists tightly. However, Wang Zheng knew that this wasn't the time for them to charge in. What year did they live in now? How could these people be so undaunted and reckless? It seemed that this world still belonged to those with power and money. It had reached the stage where it seemed they were free to do as they wished. Wang Zheng, what should we do now? Lan Ling was a little flustered. Let's return to the Pool tribe first. The assault by the combat robots shouldn't have reached the Pool tribe so quickly. We will need to come up with a countermeasure, Wang Zheng said. The reason why he had to bring Lan Ling along was because he did not want the people of Tita to lose complete confidence in humans. The Lan family had some responsibilities in it. However, it was the decision by Lan Zhong. When people got older, they became more timid. One could only say that he had underestimated the strength of the people of Tita. No one knew this better than Wang Zheng. The number of people of Tita hidden within the vast and dense forests was immense. There were close to 100,000 giants if one only considered the few large tribes in the surrounding area. They weren't made of paper. Moreover, Rara Darai had said that there were many giants living in caves on Tita Star. They weren't alone. It was just that they were mountaineer giants. There was not much communication within the different races. This was mainly because of the difficulty in locating them. However, under the leadership of the elders, there would be some contact once every few years. This was also the point of the existence of the Wise Ones. If there was a full-blown war, the final result would be the destruction of the people of Tita. The Commerce Organization would make use of the power from the Milky Way Alliance to dodge all fallout. Tita Star would eventually be destroyed in the end. If one was to think further, if the Milky Way Alliance's constitution was to lose its effect, how would the external races like Atlantis and Mayans think? The current peaceful system of the Milky Way Alliance could collapse. What the Commerce Organization claimed to be a blitzkrieg would only be a dream if they could hold out. The group took a shortcut and headed towards the Pool tribe quickly. At the same time, the people of Tita had started to make their response. However, the faraway skies were full of transport ships and bombers. Wang Zheng had also taken glances from the side of his eyes. Since the war had started, he could clearly feel that the surrounding Yuan Qi was disappearing at a rapid pace. Rara Darai and the rest had been controlling their emotions because of Wang Zheng's existence. One could tell that they had considered Wang Zheng as a reliable person. The destructive attacks by the humans had caused strong reactions within the people of Tita. At the same time, they were also in awe of the terrifying strength of the humans. They weren't afraid of dying. Dying in battle was a form of glory. However, what kind of war was this? It was completely destructive. Their home had been destroyed completely. This was something that the people of Tita, who believed in the god of nature, couldn't tolerate at all. The people of Tita from various places had started to retaliate. They had rushed into the crowd of combat robots. Look at these dumb giants. Charging in? It's too fun. Trying to block bullets with their bare bodies? Do they think their bodies are immune to knives and bullets? Every combat robot group came with a small section of mercenary corps. The combat robots were bought to be disposed of. Even if they exchanged one combat robot for the life of one giant, they would have made a gain. The people of Tita were using primitive weapons to battle with machines made of steel. They weren't of the same grade. The Tita giants were truly fierce and brave. The valiant giants might be able to destroy a combat robot with a swing of their weapon. However, they wouldn't be able to escape death. However, the transport ships in the skies were still arriving constantly. The Commerce Organization was known to be meticulous when handling matters. They had mustered efforts to eliminate the people of Tita in one fell swoop. The first wave of air bombardment was targeting the surroundings of the cities. The second wave was executed towards the 4 living areas where the people of Tita had congregated. If it wasn't because of the tall forest, the people of Tita would have died even more quickly. These giants could only mourn in the sea of flames. The mercenary corps was drinking as they piloted their mecha. The revolving guns felt more visceral and exciting compared to lasers. This was a massacre. On the other hand, Wang Zheng received another piece of surprising news on the road. The so-called armor that the Lan family had provided was only merely 100 pieces. What could this do? Looking at Lan Ling, Wang Zheng could only sigh. In fact, he could understand. The people of Tita and humans were 2 different races after all. Although Wang Zheng was just a small soldier, from his perspective, the best choice for Tita Star was to enter the Milky Way Alliance and obtain a seat in the Milky Way Alliance. Wang Zheng's 2-pronged approach would include him finding a way to convince the people of Tita to delay the Commerce Organization team. On the other hand, he hoped to contact the Milky Way Alliance through the Earth. The key was to disseminate the news, and it would be disseminated further by other relevant organizations. He did not believe that the Commerce Organization could single-handedly hide the truth from the public. The reasoning that he could come out with would probably have proponents within the Milky Way Alliance. There was also another more ruthless move. That would be for Wang Zheng to contact Weiyan through Zissou. As for what Weiyan would do, it would be hard to determine. The princess's sense of justice had always been overflowing. However, the royal family of Aslan would likely not agree to it easily. Doing all he could and wishing for the best, this was Wang Zheng. No matter what, the first thing would be to contact Elder Mu Sen. In the faraway Atlantis, everything seemed so serene. There hadn't been a war in this place for a very long period of time. During the aggressive period of expansion by the Milky Way Alliance, the Milky Way Alliance had chosen to adopt a more peaceful method after facing the Atlantis. The sacred temple, Hall of Light. The endless light was just like the ocean and had dyed the entire hall. The light was just like water and was turning and moving slowly. In the middle of all the light, there was a fair-skinned girl. She was lowering her head and bathing in the light. Her flawless crystal-like skin seemed to be becoming one with the light. Dang! The sound of the bell had propagated from outside. Within the pleasant noise, the endless light seemed to have received a shock and receded rapidly. In the open hall, only the young girl was left behind and there weren't any other things. The young girl raised her head. Her gaze was clear and had a faint expression. It was Aina. The door creaked and the main doors of the sacred temple were opened from the outside. An ancient Atlantis language was sang in a soft voice and reverberated within the hall endlessly. The ceremony has ended. The Queen of Atlantis entered with a set of splendid attire. On her face, she revealed a faint admiration smile. Congratulations! Even for the people of Atlantis, this is a noble achievement that would be engraved in one's soul and would never be erased. It is also enough to please the gods. You are also the first human to complete this magnificent feat. Aina got up and saluted. After hearing what the Queen had said, she saluted again. It is my greatest honor to be able to receive the recognition of your highness. The charisma and radiance of the Queen was something that even Aina was envious of. Cleanse thoroughly and awaken. After going through the baptism by light, you can start learning our mental engraving. Your Highness, I can't understand. Why would you do this? Aina asked calmly. Although the relationship between Aslan and Atlantis was great, it shouldn't be at this level. Moreover, she was supposed to be grounded and punished. The Queen of Atlantis was taken aback. Looking into Aina's eyes, her eyes were sagacious. The Queen smiled faintly and said, "We were brought together by fate." Aina was stunned. This was a reason that she couldn't refute. Fate? The Queen smiled gently. Rest is equally important. Through the light baptism, your mental strength will go through sublimation. What you will need most now is to consolidate your experiences. This kid, Hao Lin, is fond of humans. I can sense that he wants to become a real human. I sincerely hope that you can help him. Aina nodded her head slightly with respect and left the main hall. When she came to the outside, a tall Aslan female officer walked towards her. Your Highness Aina, congratulations for undergoing the light baptism and achieving sublimation of your mental strength. Your Highness and the Prime Minister will definitely. Nellie. Yes? The female officer immediately stood upright. Her upright posture was perfect as for a female officer. She was resolute. On her beautiful face, she had an unwavering gaze. The tightly closed lips were a sign of her determination and pride and were extremely attractive. Bring me to Prince Hao Lin. Yes. The female officer turned around with her upright posture and was leading the way. She respected the princess. However, her mission was truly about supervising the princess until the princess could recognize her mistake. After passing through the solemn ancient hall, it was a garden. In this place, one wouldn't be able to see anything related to technology. No matter if it belonged to the humans or Atlantis, ancient and natural would be the only unique characteristics in this place. Hao Lin was right here, playing baseball. The human's game would be the best way to understand human culture. He loved to experience every human activity. Sister Aina, congratulations. When Hao Lin saw Aina, he threw the baseball bat in his hands aside and was revealing a joyous face. Such baptism was completed only by a few people of Atlantis. Moreover, not everyone would have such an opportunity. In fact, he was curious why Her Highness would grant Aina this opportunity. However, he was sincerely happy. To share and seek truth together was the true way to happiness. I need to thank you for it. If you hadn't fought for me, I wouldn't have had such an opportunity. There were controversies at that time. However, Hao Lin had voted yes resolutely. Time had passed very quickly. The evening sun was hanging in the horizon. The setting sun shone on the garden and everything was in a magical golden yellow. Hao Lin raised his head and took a look at the leaves that had turned golden red. The so-called spiritual engraving is done like this. However, to truly master it will be troublesome. Furthermore, I feel that humans should find their own path. Aina smiled faintly and replied, one must be able to draw inferences. Hao Lin smiled and looked at Aina. I have a question. The truth is that I have always wanted to ask you something. Oh, please say what's on your mind. Aina knew that Hao Lin was just like a curious baby. Have you ever regretted your love? Looking at the prince with the small stature, Aina laughed instead. Her smile triumphed over everything and it meant more than the answer. Hao Lin couldn't understand. The relationship of humans was truly complicated. If it was him, he would definitely not be able to bear such separation. This was equivalent to forcefully transforming the two of them into two intersecting lines, never to meet again after that one encounter. One could expect that the distance between them would increase more and more because of this. The things that had happened in the past would become just an intersection point in their memories. It seems that there is still a lot for me to learn with regard to humans. Hao Lin could only sigh. The emotions of the people of Atlantis and the humans were very similar. However, it seemed that there was something within them that had disappeared permanently. "Your Highness, it is time for your dinner." Nellie had disrupted the casual conversation between the two of them. She took a glance at Hao Lin. The name, Wang Zheng, had solemnly become a restricted phrase in the royal family of Aslan. Aina smiled and was getting ready to leave after standing up. Prince Hao Lin also sent her off using the formalities of humans. It was a beautiful night and Aina had been leading a fulfilling life. Learning, preparing for lessons, revision. She was doing what a princess of Aslan should have done and was doing it in the best way. It was only till the designated bedtime and with Nellie's reminder that she went for a bath. After which, she tucked her body into the soft mattress and closed her eyes gently. The night of Atlantis was extremely quiet. The fatigue that had accumulated during the day had all rushed out in this instance. Why didn't she ask about the situation with Wang Zheng? It was because she was afraid. She had never worried about herself. However, what about Wang Zheng? No news might be the best news for her. With Rara Durai leading the way, the group finally arrived at the Pool tribe. The Pool tribe had not been attacked yet. However, it was clear that there was anger and panic building up within the entire tribe. Not only was Mu Sen around, Elder Guang Yao and the chiefs of the surrounding tribes were also present. However, when the crowd saw Wang Zheng and Lan Ling, they immediately became agitated. "Shameless humans! How dare you show your faces here? Kill them!" Instantly, the feelings of the crowd ran high. Some of them even started throwing stuff at Wang Zheng and Lan Ling. Wang Zheng and Lan Ling had expected this situation. If it was them, they might have committed even worse actions. Rara Durai stood in front of Wang Zheng and allowed everything to hit him. On their way here, they had witnessed the miserable situation of the destroyed villages. Disregarding Rara Durai, the anger in Wang Zheng had accumulated to a tipping point. Elder Mu Sen and fellow countrymen, Ada and Miss Lan Ling are here to help us. They are not the same as those people. Rara Durai had really matured a lot to be able to still control his emotions in such a situation. Mu Sen raised his hand to signal for everyone to remain quiet. Mu Sen looked at Lan Ling and said, "Miss Lan Ling, please answer my question." "Elder Mu Sen, please speak. I know that it is the Blue Star Commerce Organization that has started this attack. However, why didn't the Lan family take any action? I thought that we were allies and had friendly relations for over 100 years. Mu Sen had gone straight to the heart of the matter. Although his expression was composed, his trembling wrinkles made it clear that he was also trying to restrain his anger. The wise ones were different from the giants. They understood the humans. This was also the reason why they had maintained a lukewarm relationship with them. Unlike them, humans would not keep to their promises. The people of Tita were not afraid to die in battle. They weren't afraid of death. Even if the Titan star were to be destroyed, it would be alright as long as they had tried their best. However, they were truly enraged by the betrayal of the humans that they had always trusted in. Quibbling, covering up, Lan Ling really did not know what to say. This was because the people of Tita had a natural trust for the Lan family since she was young. What she had heard was also that the Lan family had a friendship with the people of Tita that lasted over 100 years. However, the truth now was telling her that what her grandpa had been saying was not worth anything. Looking at the trusting gaze of Rara Durai, Lan Ling made her decision. Lan Ling took a deep bow and replied, "Elder Mu Sen, I want to express my deepest apologies for the Lan family's cowardice and yielding to the enemy. I know that my words will not be able to salvage anything. What I, Lan Ling, would like to say here today is that I will fight to the last moment with everyone even if I die. If you all can trust me, please give me another chance. If you can't, I won't complain even if you want to kill me." Lan Ling said this resolutely and decisively. An explanation would be the same as covering up. Even if she wanted to cover it up, it was still the truth. She only knew why she was here. This was because she felt that what Lan Zhong had done was wrong. Disregarding relationships and considering only the truth, allying with the Commerce Organization was equivalent to asking the tiger for its skin. The roots of the Lan family were on the Titan star. If they leave this place, they wouldn't be anything. However, the Commerce Organization would only treat this place as a gold mine and would leave after excavating. She might be acting immaturely, but she had made her own decision to fight together with the people of Tita. Wang Zheng had remained composed and looked at the reactions of the people of Tita quietly. Truthfully, what could a few words do? However, Elder Musen smiled. Although there was some sadness in his smile, he replied, Lan Ling, you are a friend of the people of Tita. The people of Tita would never betray our friends. Elder Mu Sen, the situation is rather pressing. Would you happen to have come up with a countermeasure? Wang Zheng asked directly. The Commerce Organization has underestimated the people of Tita. We will fight to protect our home even if it means fighting till the last of us, Mu Sen said. We have already mobilized over 10,000 warriors. We will let these greedy humans know about our strength, Shan Yu said. Wang Zheng frowned. There were only so few warriors. He had originally thought that there would at least be several hundred thousands. It seemed that not every single person of Tita was participating in the battle. Chief Shan Yu, what you all are looking at is only the robotic vanguard. Frankly speaking, with the financial strength of the Commerce Organization, they could send endless supplies of such units. You should try to gather more strength. From what I know, there shouldn't be so few warriors. Mu Sen forced a smile. Elder Guang Yao, who was at a side, shook his head and took a look at Lan Ling. The attack and betrayal by the humans has caused the other tribes to lose their confidence. Moreover, Elder Mu Sen has always been close to the humans. The other tribes have abandoned us. They believe that the Kamla region is the source of the war and won't spread outwards. Wang Zheng was stunned. Was this self-deceiving or were they too silly and naive? They could tell the doubts that Wang Zheng had. The truth is that the tribes of the people of Tita do not have a universal leader due to the differences in culture and other aspects. Mu Sen explained. The problems that existed between humans were also present between the people of Tita. One could tell from the endless disputes between the Pul tribe and the Lingshan tribe which belonged to the same region. Couldn't the Committee of Elders make the decision? The purpose of the 8 Great Elders is to strengthen relationships and prevent large-scale internal war between the people of Tita. We do not have any right to command each other, Elder Guang Yao explained. Wang Zheng's heart sank. The situation was more dire than he had thought. For the news to spread and everything to proceed would also take some time. However, if the people of Tita were exterminated during this time, nothing would be left. Elder Mu Sen, the situation now is critical. The Commerce Organization is intending to completely convert the Titan star into an uninhabitable mineral star. The progress to join the Milky Way Alliance was also obstructed by them. I know about the bravery of the Tita warriors. However, you should have seen that these robots are mass-produced goods. Destroying them wouldn't really mean much, Lan Ling said. This was also what made everyone around worried. They knew the capabilities of the humans. A war that would never end was also something that they couldn't endure. If there was a choice, no one would hope to be destroyed. Miss Lan Ling, do you have a plan? Mu Sen asked. There is only one way currently. That would be to capture the ringleader first in order to capture his followers, said Lan Ling. Wang Zheng's eyes lit up. He could roughly understand Lan Ling's way of thinking. This was probably the only way out. Go on. Wang Zheng has already leaked the news about the Blue Star Commerce Organization going against the Milky Way Alliance Constitution through other methods. However, it will take time to form a proposal to be submitted to the Milky Way Alliance. The Blue Star Commerce Organization will not give us this time. Our only way is to gather our elite soldiers and attack the command center of the Blue Star Commerce Organization. Once we have occupied that place, we can disrupt the following plans of the Blue Star Commerce Organization and gain valuable time for us. Lan Ling said. Moreover, this could help reduce the casualty count to the lowest. The war in the Kamla region is only a tactical exercise. Once they feel that it is doable, the largest-scale attack will also commence, said Wang Zheng. If the people of Tita could provide the most unyielding counterattack at this moment, the Blue Star Commerce Organization would start to assess their gains and losses. This was the innate style of a businessman. Therefore, they had to quickly deliver the fatal blow. Wang Zheng had started to understand the entire matter's connections and the ways the Commerce Organization did things. The warriors of the Lingshan tribe have made the preparations to fight to our death, said Shan Yu. Lan Ling shook her head. These warriors will not be enough. What I can do now is one of two things. One of them is to find a way to determine the location of the command center of Blue Star. Such a large robotic army definitely requires a control headquarters. The second thing would be for Elder Mu Sen to send a few thousand warriors to me. I know where the Lan family's battle armor warehouse is situated. Although there are only over 10,000 sets, they would still be a great help. Mu Sen's eyes lit up after hearing this. They only had a few hundred battle armors. It would only be enough for a small-scale war. If it was a large-scale war, it would be completely pointless. However, if they could equip over 10,000 giants, it would be a different matter. Clearly, this was Lan Ling's personal decision. What do we have to do then? Elder Mu Sen and Elder Guang Yao, the people of Tita have to unite together. We must strike the bullseyes in this attack. If we can't, the outcome will be dire. It won't be enough to depend on our current military strength. We will need the people of Tita to unite together. Wang Zheng said. He knew clearly about the battle power of the Tita giants and knew even clearer about the military strength of humans. With their current strength, these people would have been exterminated before they reached the front of the base. Once the main battle force was eliminated, there would really be no hope left for the Titan Star. Mu Sen and Guang Yao looked at each other. Elder Guang Yao paused for a moment and said resolutely and decisively, I will go and convene the meeting of the elders. No matter what, we have to try our best. Every power counts. In that case, let's split up and do our missions. Without further ado, let us head out immediately, Lan Ling said. Wang Zheng, can you stay here? It will be more convenient for us to maintain communication? Wang Zheng nodded. Clearly, the war had started. The ambassadors of various tribes shouldn't be far apart. The whole Pool tribe had been mobilized. The batch of equipment was the most pressing matter. At night, Wang Zheng couldn't sleep. The new mech stood alone. For the first time, Wang Zheng had felt helplessness. In the face of war, the strength of a single person was so minute. Mu Sen walked over. Can't fall asleep. Wang Zheng nodded his head and said, Elder Mu Sen, how many people do you think we can gather? Mu Sen shook his head and let out a long sigh. The thoughts of the people of Tita, especially those from rural tribes, weren't willing to adapt to change to begin with. Coupled with the current incident, it would be hard to tell. Isn't there anything that could unite the people of Tita? Weren't there any leaders that appeared in the history of the people of Tita? Wang Zheng asked subconsciously. There was. Mu Sen's gaze turned deep and distant. Titan. This was the belief and an ancient legend of the people of Tita. I had heard it from Rara Durai. Could it be that it really existed? Yes, it was real. This was also the origin of our Titan Star. Catastrophe has fallen, but the Titan has yet to appear. How can we find this Titan? Wang Zheng asked immediately. He wasn't being superstitious. However, if there was a chance, he would definitely grab it tightly. Anyone could be a Titan as long as they can return from the abyss. Where is the abyss? Wang Zheng's eyes lit up. In fact, he had heard from Rara Durai previously. He did not believe about the abyss. However, every primitive tribe would have something that they believed in even if it might be baffling to others. If this could be a reason to unite them, Wang Zheng was willing to give it a try. You want to go there, Elder? I'm willing to go with Ada, said Rara Durai.